everybody. Welcome to Life UncomMen. My name is Andrea Rodriguez.
And my name is Alita Sharp, and we are excited about today's
Yes.
show.
Highly anticipated show of the season. Yeah, we are excited to be here, and even more excited because we have two of our favorite men
Yes.
in the studios. For those of you who have been watching us for quite a while, you would remember that last year we had a Meet the Spouses segment or show. And so we are doing that part 2 that people were asking for. So today we finally whatever that word is. I need more coffee.
Yes.
This morning.
Finally got them here,
Yes.
and I'm real excited.
Yeah,
A little scared, but I'm excited.
Yeah. I already told my husband he needs to behave.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're happy to have them with us this morning. So I will welcome my husband, and you can welcome yours.
Okay.
I want to welcome my husband, Dion Rodriguez, with us this morning. Welcome, honey.
Glad to be here.
You promise to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. So help you guys.
It's a daytime show.
That's right.
Yeah. So Dion and I, we were going to be married 14 years in August.
August
Wow.
16th. Can't forget dates, guys. You'll be in trouble if you, as a husband, forget significant days for your wife or your family.
Dion,
Yeah.
we not even start to ask questions yet. Are you
But
done
he's already,
jumping?
that's right. He's ready.
Your sis-
He's ready.
Yeah.
He came prepared. So, and we also have my husband with us. We so excited to have Tom Sharp with us this morning.
Good morning, good to be here.
Good morning, yes. And we'll be married, what?
400 years.
No, I asked you to behave also.
sorry.
You,
Didn't get
you
the
already
memo.
forgot.
You forgot that memo, huh, Tom?
I did.
Already.
He couldn't recall.
Well, you guys look good for being married 400 years.
Well, actually, it's not 400. We'll be married 36 years.
In December.
In December.
Yeah,
Wow.
so 35
They're
already.
chasing you guys.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. Good for you.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have quite a lot of things to talk about, and for those of you who have been following us this month, you know that we call June UncomMen
Yes.
month, or UncomMen June, because we want to talk about men, and specifically men who are doing great things and living out their purpose, walking in the fear of the Lord, and setting a good example for others and for their families, their children, and mainly also because men are often viewed in a more negative
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
I think most of the time when a man is featured on the news is because he's either been killed in an accident,
Committed
stabbed,
some type
killed,
of a
killed
crime or-
somebody,
Going to
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
raped somebody, all
Yeah.
those negative things,
Yeah.
and very few are shown in a positive light.
Yeah,
so
that's
we
true.
decided we wanted to change the conversation when it came to the men.
Yeah. And you know, women talk about men a lot.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And
We love,
we do.
We love
We
talking
love
about men.
talking. We
didn't
love
know
talking
that.
about men.
I didn't
And
know
and
that
I
at
just
all.
think it's great that we've taken this month to talk about men with men and not behind their backs, you know,
Yes, to their face.
to their faces and with having a conversation, because I think you're right, Andrea. It is time to change that conversation and to hear more about the positive side and about men that are trying to make a difference in their lives and their families' lives. I think that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess
I didn't know.
I have a question I wanted to ask like up front. Like I said earlier about how men are often featured more in a negative way. How does that make you feel as a man when you see and hear all of that negativity? Tom?
Well, many times when I hear the stories or watch the news here in Belize, I do feel a great sadness for men. because from my perspective, many times men are demasculated. Some of their power has been taken away.
Yeah.
And, certainly part of that may be a result of colonialism and being a colony of Britain and slavery and the horrible tragedies and traumas that took place with that. But from my observation in Belizean society, sometimes it carries over, where
Yeah.
men are disrespected, they're seen as disposable, but really men are very important to this country.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my turn to answer
Yes.
that hard question. As a Belizean, it saddens me because we are all put in the same boat. That we are all dogs, and but there are good men out there. The thing is, they aren't on the forefront,
Yeah.
or they aren't featured for awards,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And so the thing is that the more sad the news, the more ratings you get.
Yeah.
And so you target
Yeah.
the negative.
Yeah.
And so if opportunities are given, I think a lot of men are out there, because I work with a lot of men in this country, with the different role that I play. But you don't hear anybody bigging them up. And so in order for the negative to change, we need to highlight the positive as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because opportunities are there for everybody else except the male. And so when it comes to different organizations' goal, men aren't included. And so what should we expect?
Yeah.
And so if we would like to change society, we have to have a combined effort, be it both male and female,
Yeah.
given equal opportunities.
Yeah.
If you'll give $50,000 towards entrepreneurship for a female, give $50,000 as well for a male entrepreneurs. And so let's bring the balance, and I think it would change the trajectory of where we are heading.
Well, I think you just ruffled some feathers.
I'm sure he did.
Because it is true though. And
Yeah.
I think I've seen where the focus is a lot on women, single moms and stuff. And I'm not saying that is a bad thing.
No.
But it is true that the opportunities are becoming less and less for young men.
Right.
You know, especially if they live maybe within a city. You know, because I see opportunities too, but mainly for like in the rural areas.
Yeah.
Very limited, but in the rural areas. And so, but what about the boys in the urban settings, in the cities or near cities? So that's a whole other topic that we could talk about. I wanted to ask if we are live on Facebook. If somebody could check into that for us,
Yeah,
because
'cause
I know
I'm
we
not
have a lot
seeing
of
that.
people waiting to see if we are live on Facebook. So
Yeah, so they can ask the hard question.
That's
Yeah.
right.
yes, and we want to thank you guys who are watching via cable. Feel free to text in, call us today. We would love to hear from you if you have any questions or even comments that you want to share with us. Today would be a good day for that as well. So, Alida, you have a question for the guys?
I do, because I think we were talking about this, you and I, when we met yesterday. What are some of the principles that guide you as a man? I don't know, Dion, why don't you answer this one first?
What guides me? I know a lot of our viewers aren't Christians, but that has been my guiding force, God.
Okay.
Because I went through a lot as a young as a child and growing up as a teen and all of those. But the thing that kept me grounded was my my passion for Christ in my life, because I learned early in my life that God has the best for me, and so that was what gravitated me towards church and
Yeah.
towards the activities that church does to create the impact in the lives of people, as well as the mentorship. I always look up to older men, ask them. I didn't have a lot of young friends. Most of my friends were older, far older
Oh,
than
okay.
me. And so because of that, I think that gave me a platform where it propelled me to success.
Yeah.
It might not be the level of success that some people might consider success. However, I learned a lot from them because they are very open, and they when I asked the questions that you will be afraid to ask in church, they were readily
Okay.
available to answer the questions.
That's good.
I had older friends also, but that just allowed me to get into more trouble quicker. There are two places. I thought a lot about this question because a representative of the show showed me some of the possible questions that would be asked.
Oh my!
Somebody gave you insider information.
Yes. If I see her, I will thank her.
Yeah.
So I thought about this question because I think it's a really good question. And there's two places where I think my life principles have been formed. And the first is from the Sermon on the Mount,
Okay.
or the Beatitudes. In Matthew 5, when Jesus talked about blessed are the poor in spirit, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs. To me, what that means is that I have to get to a place where I acknowledge that I have absolutely nothing on my own to recommend myself to God. That I am completely spiritually bankrupt. That there isn't anything that I have that would persuade God to love me. And so I'm completely broken. And then in the second beatitude, when Jesus talked about blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. When I see how spiritually bankrupt I am, it causes me to mourn. You know, the first beatitude is intellectual, the second beatitude is emotional. And so it causes us to be broken before God and to mourn for the emptiness that we have. Jesus went on and talked about blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. And meek doesn't mean weak.
Right.
Yeah.
It means having power under control. It means having strength that is that has some restrictions or has some boundaries to it. And so understanding and studying the Sermon on the Mount has been a significant place for me to find a lot of life principles.
Okay.
The other place that's been beneficial for me, you know, when we got married, we didn't know that I was an alcoholic. But we found out during the first several years of our marriage that I am an alcoholic. And so using the principles of the 12 steps to get sober has been a beneficial thing. And those principles, I think, go along exactly with the Beatitudes. You know, the first step is admitting that we're powerless over alcohol, that our lives have become unmanageable. It's that place of acknowledging, again, the brokenness in our lives, the things that don't work, the areas that we try to have control over where we don't have control, leads to an unmanageable life, a life that's just chaos and out of control. Relationships fail, we fail at work in all areas. And so that first step has been beneficial to me. the second step where we say we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. And for me, this step is one of saying, I know there's a God, but I know it's not me.
Yeah.
I'm not God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't fix my own problems.
Yeah.
And that at one point there was a sense of sanity to my life, but because of trying to control all of these out of control areas, my life is just nuts. And so there's somebody outside of myself
Yeah.
that can help restore my life to sanity. So
Yeah.
principles from the 12 steps have been beneficial in my life. Principles from understanding and studying and trying to live the Sermon on the Mount
Yeah.
have been paramount for me.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
There you have it, people. Because I always say that when you see men like our husbands, there's something behind that. They didn't just wake up and become that man.
Yeah.
We are all, and they are also a work in progress. Every
Right.
day we can decide if
Right.
we're going to make better ourselves or we're going to just live like a mediocre life. And so I really liked what both of you shared.
Yeah.
And Andrea, I appreciate you using the word progress, that we're a work in progress, because very much for me, this has been a process over many, many, many years. And one thing that mashes my corns more than anything else is how often we want to overlook the small incremental steps that leads to progress
Right.
and growth.
Right.
That I really think that most of our spiritual maturity and emotional maturity comes through a process. And many times we get caught up wanting to have an event. We look for that breakthrough, we pray for that breakthrough, we hear about it at church, when really most of our spiritual growth comes through a process.
Yeah.
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 And the
So thanks
process-
for letting me preach.
and the process starts with the individual,
Yes.
making that deliberate choice. It might be hard at the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
but you have to be able to have others hold you accountable. Because you might say you're struggling in a certain area. Go to somebody you trust and tell them, this is my weakness and I really need help, but I want you to be honest, blunt. Sometimes it hurts, but
Right.
because you want the change,
Yeah.
you have to submit to the process.
Well, you're opening up a question that we want to ask too, because men seem to get along well talking with other men. They tend to
Yeah,
open
but
up a
basketball-
little bit, I guess, with
Basketball,
other men. But how do
football,
we
work.
get the men to open up and talk to us? But
Yes.
I think we should go to break and have them think about that one.
Oh, I'm ready.
We will go and take a short break, and we will come back and hear what Tom and Dion have to say about this question.
All right.
To live a life uncommon, life uncommon.
My name is Carlos Moreno. I'm the United States Ambassador to Belize. No, I'm always interested in individuals who do good work. I was impressed by the breadth and scope of the kind of humanitarian assistance Paul has been providing to Belize for decades. Today I had the pleasure, accompanied by Dr. Paul, to visit a couple of Mayan villages and met some of the residents and children there. We also visited the school, the children's farm, and saw some of the work being done there to improve that piece of property. I think the capstone of my visit, though, was the visit to the medical mission. When you see that kind of humanitarian work goes on, I feel like that really is a force multiplier. To see it, in particular, being delivered by Americans who are volunteering their time and their resources and so forth, is really very, very gratifying. You can see it in their faces, you can see it in how they talk about the work that they do here. So it really does make me feel very proud to be a representative here as the United States Ambassador. There's probably no other person in the nonprofit, faith-based religious community here that delivers charitable work, medical work, and so forth. Anybody that really comes even close to the scope of the kind of work that he's doing here.
Cold, flu, sinus. For whatever ails you, Benjamin's, the right relief.
Dad, I'll take Boardwalk off your hands for $1,000. It's almost triple.
Nope.
Okay, fine. I'll give you $2,000 plus the utilities. Take it or leave it.
Is that all you got?
Okay. I know you won't refuse this.
What's good barbecue worth to you? Grace barbecue sauce.
To live a life uncommon, life to live a life uncommon, life uncommon.
Welcome back to Life Uncommon, and from what I understand, we are live now on Facebook as well as being live here in the studio at Plus TV. And we have been talking this morning with our husbands and hearing some of the different answers they have to some questions we've had ourselves and that others have passed along to us. And the question that came up just before we went to break is, what can women do to get their man to open up and talk to them? Because we had talked about how men are doing some talking to one another, but how can we get men to talk to us? And I know that Tom is bursting and ready to answer this question.
I'll wait my turn.
No, go
Go ahead, Tom.
Okay, all right. So we know that there are many differences between men and women.
Right.
There's many similarities, but there's many differences. And one of the differences is capacity.
Okay,
Okay, can I borrow your cup?
yes.
Okay. If we think of these cups as one being a male and the other being female, which of these cups typically has more physical capacity?
Physical would be this one, right?
The larger
The
cup.
larger one,
Which of these two cups has more emotional capacity?
the larger one.
The larger one, this is the man, you said.
Oh, well, okay, I thought you were doing a different analogy. So if this is the female cup, then yes.
But you're right, that a female has a larger emotional
that's
capacity.
what I was saying.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, I understand. I understand. So we need to understand that men don't have as much emotional capacity as women do, which means that we don't feel as many feelings, we don't process as many feelings, we don't express as many feelings. So, if you want your man to talk to you, what you have to do is you have to make it safe for him to be able to talk to you.
Okay.
And that means that, ladies, you're going to have to withhold your emotional response many times in order to encourage your husband to continue to talk to you. As a man expresses himself and talks about the things that are important for him, he needs that emotional safety. And if you react, which is a normal thing to do, you have a much larger emotional capacity to deal with all those things. He doesn't. He's having a hard enough time managing expressing what he's feeling or what he's needing or what he's thinking. So you have to understand that us guys have just, it's a lot more work for us to deal with emotions and heart issues. It doesn't mean we can't. It just means that we probably need more time. We won't go at the speed that women will go when they process things emotionally. And if a woman responds or reacts to something that a man is saying, that may overload his capacity. It would be like pouring the contents of this cup into here.
Right.
And if we do that, it's just going to flood all over the place. So understanding that your man has a different level of emotional capacity than you do, that when he opens his heart and shares with you, you're going to need to withhold responding emotionally because it will cause him to be flooded and it'll cause him to shut down.
So I hear what you're saying, but I just want to clarify.
Okay.
Do you mean that I can't, you don't, you need to finish what you're saying before I make a comment? Or I need to have a poker face while you're talking to me and not show any kind of reaction at all? What?
Well, ideally, poker face would be best.
Spotted.
But what I'm saying is, as you respond, what happens is you're adding to
Yeah.
what he's already trying to manage.
Yeah.
And he may struggle with managing more than
Okay.
what's already been expressed and
Okay.
presented.
Okay.
Dion,
So we are-
what is your
Yeah,
take on this?
ladies are more emotional. We can say things and it doesn't bother us much. Because, give for example, a bill is due. The dad are already aware that the bill is due. And then the wife will be,
Just call my name, it's okay.
you know,
Use
happen,
me.
you know,
I
happen
know,
to
but
us.
you-
but,
all
you
right,
know,
go ahead.
I see it many times. The bill is due, and the wife will be nagging. You don't pay the bill. When you get the money, no. You know, like scratch CD and stuff like that. So the guy already factor in he needs to come up with that money somehow. But the more you nag, the more he withdraw himself from around you. So he will go to the store and take longer than normal. He will probably go and play basketball, football, or whatever to avoid going home. To be reminded that this bill is due. But when the crunch time comes for the man, he already say, all right, if it not happen this way, then I have to go borrow. And then goes and pays for it. But it's not that the man doesn't take it seriously.
Right.
He doesn't wear it on his face. You know, emotionally, when a woman is frustrated, it will show in everything. The face, everything.
face.
The
Poker
kids,
face.
when the dirt is on the floor, it's, you know,
Yeah.
everything bothers them. The guy will walk over it and say, all right, when I not finish, I not clean it. You know, but it's true that how to correct that is probably asking question. Asking
Okay.
the husband a question. Babes, you know the bill due tomorrow, right? Or next week, right? You have any idea how we could pay for it?
What's your
Instead
plan?
Instead of, you know that bill due? No. You know, that you don't throw off the man already. So by asking question, it will be more like you're on his side,
Okay.
rather than just throwing him under the bus.
Response,
Any
ladies?
follow-up
Response?
question?
Go ahead, Alida. You look like you want to say
Yeah.
something.
No, just
Sorry.
what both of them were bringing up, but on what Dion was saying, you know, about how we express ourselves. It made me think about that next question about the power of words.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's where I was going to go.
Okay,
You know,
well,
but I know you want to say something before that.
I wanted to go back to and say what Tom had mentioned, and I think, I don't know if everybody grabbed that, but at the very beginning, he said, you need to feel safe or something.
Right,
Right?
right.
So we as women will need to know when is a good time to bring up
Right.
a discussion. Not as he walks through the door,
Right.
you know, no, is not a good time. He won't talk then because
Right.
he's attacked or feels attacked
Yeah.
or overwhelmed
Yeah.
as he steps through the door. So it's waiting and finding that right moment, a good time to talk. You know, running around getting kids ready is not a good time to have a conversation with your husband, you
Or your
know,
wife.
or your wife. And so, for both people, I think you need to really do think about the timing too, and going to that next question of how we say things, because yeah, it's easy to let that frustration come out, and then like with my husband, he seems like it doesn't bother him.
Yeah.
And that used to get on my nerves because I am freaking out over here and he has his face just like this, like nothing bothers him. And I had to learn that just because his face is not the way I think it should be, or I don't see him making steps to fix the problem, doesn't mean he's not working on fixing
Right.
it.
That's right.
And I had to
Right.
learn that the hard way. So, yes.
And so you're right, whether it's a husband or a wife asking, is this a good time to talk about whatever the topic is? Just
Yeah.
checking in with each other to find out, are you in an okay place where we can talk about this, or
Yeah.
is a later time better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And don't talk to this guy when he's in bed because he will be snoring.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, da 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 da. Oh,
Bed is
Dion.
made for sleeping.
And he's gone. Like he said that as soon as his head hit the pillow. So you have to learn what works for your husband or your wife. When is a good time for both of you?
Yeah,
Bed is
we-
made for sleeping.
We have a rule that we don't discuss anything or ask, I don't discuss anything or ask Tom any questions after 8 o'clock at night because he's not
Yeah.
thinking,
And
he's
that's a
not
good
ready.
rule.
That's
He's,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, especially when our kids were little and he was working full time, we'd have to wait till maybe a weekend or something, you know, when
Well-
we got a chance to
Before
discuss
8
things that were
before 8
really,
PM.
yeah, before 8 p.m.
So I can be 7:50.
Well, Dion
If it's not too serious, it could be 7:50.
Dion knows not to ask me anything before 8 a.m.
There you go.
There you
All right.
go.
So know
There
each
you go.
other's
So
time
that's
zones,
right.
right?
That's right. You have to know each other. Yeah.
All right. So,
So what
the
about
big
the power,
question.
the power of words? How do words that are spoken to you affect like your self-esteem or your life? How do words, the power of words impact you?
Well, even though many times as men we operate with poker faces and we may not show what's going on underneath, we actually are sensitive people.
Yeah.
And
Really?
we really are.
okay.
We really are sensitive creatures. And so how a question or a comment is phrased many times impacts how we receive it. And I can remember many years ago in our marriage where we hit a really rough patch. It was like a 2-year or 3-year bump in the road that,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was just, we had losses and had dealt with all kinds of heavy issues. And I was convinced that Alita was not on my team. I was convinced she was against me. I was convinced that we were not united and that she was trying to drag me down. And in part because we both were so raw from dealing with so many things, the big issues, and how I heard Alita's questions or
Yeah,
comments. I
yeah.
heard them as very negative, even when they weren't negative.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what helped me shift gears, but I finally got to a point where I realized that we are on the same team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That we do want the same things.
Yeah.
That we are working towards the same goals. That we have to unite. Otherwise, the marriage is going to fall completely apart
Yeah.
and the wheels are going to come off of everything. And so Once I was able to shift gears and realize, yes, this woman is my helpmate. She's not trying to hurt me. She's able to hear things from God that I'm not able to hear. And so I need to allow her, or that's probably not the right, those aren't the words I want to use, but I need to respect her enough that that I can trust her, that what she's telling me is supposed to go on in our life, our marriage, our family, really is actual and true. And so I had to shift how I heard it, where my heart was. We had to work on some things as well. And I'm very grateful that we did.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that we just didn't continue to
Yeah.
grow apart and everything fall apart. That would be
Yeah.
horrible. So, here we are 35 and a half years later.
Yeah.
We can continue to celebrate and go deeper in our marriage.
Right.
But it took a lot of work to turn the boat a direction.
Yeah.
And it wasn't overnight. It wasn't easy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. You're looking at me?
Yeah.
Why are you looking at me?
Yeah. The
I
power
like
of
to see
words.
why.
Power of words. I learned a few years ago the power of words through the book of Genesis, when God spoke and everything appeared.
Yeah.
And we are made in His image, and so what we call a thing, that is what it becomes. If we call our husband dog, what do you expect? You are calling forth, because the power of your words wasn't given to you by yourself. It's given to you by God. You have one of two choices. One is speak life or speak death. And so I choose to speak life because I want to see a difference. But most people, because of their upbringing, are more lean towards the speaking of death. You're a dog, you're just like your pa, you're just like your mom. You never amount to anything. Those are daggers that are infesting the hearts of not only kids, but
Yeah.
men and
Right.
women.
Amen.
Right.
And so in order to change that, we have to change our words.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember clearly, and I've said this before in the show too, I remember clearly when you told me how you felt when I referred to you in a certain way, spoke about you early in the marriage. You remember that? You know,
Nope.
remember. I remember things, and he's like, "What? I don't remember that." But that made such an impact on my life, and I remembered that day vowing to myself that I would not continue that way, that I would refer to him differently. And so I purposed in my heart to change the way I spoke
Yeah.
about him
Yeah.
and how I spoke to him.
Yeah.
And that has been a process for me too. Sometimes I want to say things that, I say, change it, say something else. But if he didn't tell me that what I was saying about him or saying to him was hurting him, I probably would have still been talking the same way.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important too for men to be able to open up and share to their
Right.
spouses, this is how you make me feel.
Yeah.
When, this is how I feel when these things happen, or when you say this or whatever. And that has helped me a lot. And so I want to encourage the men out there too. If your wife is saying things about you that is hurting you, making you feel bad, talk with her about that and help her to see how it's hurting you instead of just
Yeah.
bottling it up and not saying anything.
Yeah,
And
you have
wives,
two
check
response too.
your.
Guys have two responses. They either shut up, shut down, or they vomit on you, I would call it. Vomit on you meaning they do the same thing. They call you all these
Right,
negative
right,
things and
right.
stuff like that. So my case, I'm more an internal processor, right? Everything I keep in. And so in order for me to verbalize what I'm feeling, I have to process how, and it usually takes forever. Usually takes forever to find the right words because you don't want to You don't want for it to appear that you are against her or you think differently
Yeah.
about. And so, because I want her to know that she's the best thing that ever happened to me. And so I always look for the best things to say, even if it is something that will irk her, but at the same time it will bring life. Because if we just leave it as that, someday it will appear again.
Yeah.
And so I choose to process it first in my mind, my heart, and then I'll see. You know, because I want life.
Yeah.
I choose life.
Yeah.
And you talk about how men process internally. This is really true. We primarily do. And you can think of it like a bear hibernating in a cave. The people who process internally, some women do this as well, but it's like that bear that goes to hibernation and is dealing with all of the thoughts and feelings and issues and
Yeah.
pros and cons. And a bear is not ready to come out of hibernation until
Yeah.
the bear says he's ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't force that prematurely. And so if a man comes out of hibernation and says, babe, I need to talk to you about how you speak to me, no, that's a big thing for a man to do.
Yeah.
And he's making
Yeah.
himself very vulnerable. And so for the wife to respond in an emotionally safe way is vital.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if he gets something negative from her, he's going to go back into the cave.
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
going to hibernate some more.
Yeah. And hibernation takes a while.
It
right?
does.
It sure
It
does.
can be a whole season. Yeah.
Take us a break.
Yes, we need to we need to take a break, and we will be right back and continue on in this conversation. So if you have comments, if you have questions, you can do those on Facebook, on our Facebook Live, or you can send us a text or even give us a call. But we'll be right back.
To live a life uncommon, life uncommon.
From the company who brought you Buendia freeze-dried coffee, Greece 100% pure Colombian coffee is made in Colombia, considered among the finest coffee regions around the world. Naturally freeze-dried, Greece 100% pure Colombian coffee is exposed to less heat than other coffee brands to preserve the flavor and aroma to make the perfectly convenient cup of coffee you deserve. Have a buenos dias with Grace.
Recipes, go to gracerecipes.com. It's time for Grace. Grace, bringing good taste to life.
My name is Carlos Moreno. I'm the United States Ambassador to Belize. No, I'm always interested in individuals who do good work. I was impressed by the breadth and scope of the kind of humanitarian assistance Paul has been providing to Belize for decades. Today I had the pleasure, accompanied by Dr. Paul, to visit a couple of Mayan villages and met some of the residents and children there. We also visited the school, the children's farm, and saw some of the work being done there to improve that piece of property. I think the capstone of my visit, though, was the visit to the medical mission. When you see that kind of humanitarian work goes on, I feel like that really is a force multiplier. To see it, in particular, being delivered by Americans who are volunteering their time and their resources and so forth, is really very, very gratifying. You can see it in their faces, you can see it in how they talk about the work that they do here. So it really does make me feel very proud to be a representative here as the United States Ambassador. There's probably no other person in the nonprofit, faith-based religious community here that delivers charitable work, medical work, and so forth. Anybody that really comes even close to the scope of the kind of work that he's doing here.
Dad, I'll take Boardwalk off your hands for $1,000. It's almost triple.
Nope.
Okay, fine. I'll give you $2,000 plus the utilities. Take it or leave it.
Is that all you got?
Okay. I know you won't refuse this.
What's good barbecue worth to you? Grace barbecue sauce.
To live a life uncommon, life uncommon. To live a life uncommon, life uncommon. To live a life uncommon, life uncommon. Shadows.
All right, welcome back everybody to Live in the studios of Plus TV, and we are excited to be joined this morning by our husbands, my husband Dion and Alita's husband Tom. And I want to say hi to all the people watching on Facebook and those of you watching on home on your TV. Thank you guys for tuning in. And I'm excited because my brother is joining us this morning,
great.
Conway. And they don't really get to see the shows because
Yeah.
of the really bad internet connection that they have up in Birmingham Landing.
Okay.
So I'm excited that he gets to tune in
Yeah.
today. And Gracelli and Chantel and Let's, all of them tuning in this morning. Yeah. So I just call the people who I see
Yeah.
on the Facebook page. So if
Ask
you
them
guys
to ask
are
question.
tuning in, let us know. Send us a text or comment, and we would love to hear from you.
Okay.
Alita,
So Dion said to ask the next question.
yeah.
So Andrea, what's the next question?
Well, she told me I had to decide.
Yeah, Alita wants to talk about the S word. So look at her. I put her like she's like, what? No, we have
Because I was going to go to money since
no,
that's what
no
you guys
money.
Okay.
Money and sex is always a interesting topic.
Always.
So yeah, if you want to plead the blood of Jesus on your ears, you could do that now. Send the kids to play outside. Put them in the next room, give them a book or something.
Yes.
Because I don't know what's going to come out of these guys' mouths.
I
you
know.
But it is true. Women, you all know, and men too. That's one of the things that we talk about
Right.
a lot.
And so the question is, what do women need to know about the importance of sex in a man's life?
Well, I don't know what women need to know.
What do I need to know?
It's my woman needs to know something about what sex means to me. I don't want all the women to know. I just want you to know. One woman. I just want you to know. And for me, I want you to know that sex means several different things.
Okay.
For me, it means connection. And on many different levels. It obviously there's a physical connection, but there's an emotional connection that's really important, and there's a spiritual connection
Right.
that's really important.
Yeah.
And so, for me, it's more than just an act or something to do. And in addition to that, you as my wife, as my woman, you need to know that sometimes sex is important to me just to manage stress,
Okay.
just as a reliever of stress and pressure that I'm dealing with in other areas of my life. Not only is it a way to connect, but it's a way to manage being a man in today's society.
Okay.
So all the other women, I don't care what they know. Their man may have something different for them to tell them, but that's what I want you to know, my woman to know.
There you have it.
There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen.
You answer for both of us.
No, you can't piggyback on John's answer at all. He said that was for his woman.
In my case, I'll go a different route.
Oh, all right.
I'll go a
We don't
different
know which
route.
route he's going yet. So.
Yeah. Mainly for the average Joe or Bill. Oh, they now got Bill and Joe in the list.
Dion, just get to the point.
Because women might hold their intimacy with their spouse as a, how they call it, as a, no, I won't
Bargaining
use
tool
that,
or-
a bargaining tool. Thank you for saving me, because I would have used a different, yeah. And so, if you want, you have to do certain things. And so, it's not a good thing for the male, for the spouse to
withhold.
to
Yeah.
have you withhold that from them. And so it opens doors for him to seek pleasure somewhere else. And so so that's the route I choose to go. My wife knows when it comes to that, what I think. I won't make it public.
Thank you, Jesus.
We could have overtime on this show.
It's a daytime
And
show.
daytime, if it was a different setting, it could have been different.
Thank you, darling.
Yes.
Yeah, but I do like what Dion said, indeed, because I know that it is a major problem, and men and, well, I don't know if men do it as much as women do, using it as a bargaining tool
Yeah.
or as leverage,
As leverage,
or as punishment. If you do
Right.
good, you get some. If you're a bad boy, you don't get any.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I think is one of the differences between men and women regarding sex, is that many times women are sexually interested if first their emotional needs are met.
Yeah.
And for men, it's the opposite many times.
Right.
Yeah.
That many times we make love or have a sexual encounter, and then what it opens up for us men is to be more emotionally vulnerable or more open. So it's kind of the opposite process for men than it is for women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go, peoples. We touched
That
the
was
S
a hard
word.
one.
Yes, we did. That was a hard one.
I could drink some water now. All right, Alida, your question.
Oh, goodness. Where to go next?
That's it?
That's it, Tom. Yeah.
Is there more you wanted to say about sex, Tom?
No, Dion said it's a PG rated show.
Yeah, it's rated Punta Gorda.
All right. Did you have a question about money?
Yeah.
Go to a safer topic.
A safer topic.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know.
I think we have a call.
Do we? Yes, we do. This, right? Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. I greet you all with the greeting words of peace. We say it in the original language that came with the planet of Assalamu Alaikum. That means peace be unto you all.
Okay. Thank
We're living in
you.
a serious time when peace is not the order of the day. And the reason peace is not the order of the day, because we do not know what is required or what is the requisite for peace. In my humble opinion, peace is based on understanding. Where there is no understanding, there will be no peace. And so I call not to speak about peace, but to speak on the topic that you guys just left, SEX.
Okay.
When the Creator made man, he realized that man was lonely after he made all the animals on the planet. And he saw that man needed a companion, but not a companion for sexual pleasure or sexual gratification. Whenever two people engage in sexual activity, the outcome is always an offspring, or most of the time, the outcome is an offspring. And so sex, as taught to us by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, should be something that is, no woman should give herself to a man unless that man has proven himself to be worthy to enjoy the sweetness of sex. If that man is not found worthy, then he is not to enjoy what God has put for reproduction. Because if a man is not worthy and he has sex with a woman and that woman becomes pregnant, then he will walk away from that responsibility, as we see happening all over the planet Earth.
Yeah, that's true.
So, sex is a serious act between the male and the female. It is not only for pleasure. We were brought up in a society that taught us to make us look at women as only objects of sexual pleasure or desire. But we were taught by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad through Minister Louis Farrakhan that woman is the second self of God, that woman is a serious creation of God. And because woman is a serious creation of God, she is to be respected, she is to be elevated, she is to be protected. Too many times we have sex with women, with our wives, with our girlfriends, but we do not have that level of respect that is needed to build a meaningful relationship. And so now, sex should not be something that two people engage in because they are attracted on the physical level to each other. What should allow us to become sexually active, male, female, is if the Spirit of God is in the individuals who are thinking about engaging in sexual activity. If a man does not have the Spirit of God within him, and a woman does not have the Spirit of God within her, then most of the time the sexual activity will be pleasurable for a moment, but after the pleasure is gone, all the close emotions and all the closeness disappear after the sexual act. But if two people are joined together spiritually, then this will yield what the Creator had in His plan when He created woman for man.
Thank you very
And
much.
in closing, I want to say that woman is the woman of God. If we as men do not recognize that woman is the woman of God, then we will never treat her with the respect and dignity that she deserves. The woman is God's second self.
Yeah, thank you so much for
And
sharing
so
that.
I just want to leave with that thought in mind, that if we as a people become serious in our spiritual growth and development, then we will be able to usher in the kingdom of God on this earth. I leave you as I came with the words of peace. Salam alaikum.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, caller, for calling in and sharing with us. We have a few minutes. I'm looking at Cyrilla to give me before we have to wrap up. Well, we have to wrap up. So I guess we'll have to do a part 2, you know, Tom.
Part 3.
Yes,
this is
part
part 2.
right?
Yeah.
And Dion, do you think you guys will be able to do a part 3 with us?
Next year, I think, yeah.
Nuh-uh, not next year.
have to check with our agent. Huh?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Guys, I know we have to wrap up, but I do want to ask you if there's any final thoughts that you want to share with us
Yeah.
for today.
Final thoughts.
I have none.
Ada, you did miss us, girl. We are wrapping up now. She said, "Thought I missed you guys. Love the husbands. Love that husbands are on set."
Yeah.
We are wrapping up, but we will try our magic to get them to come back again to continue because we have a lot of
we do.
questions that we wanted them to
Mm-hmm.
touch. Is there anything you would like to say?
Anything? I want to add for no. For ladies group and stuff like that, if you wanted life on commoners, visiting your women's group wherever in the country, if they go, we go, and we can have the tough question asked in more how they call it group
Yeah.
than the show like this, because I know a lot of relationships are going through some difficult times,
Yeah.
and if we can shoulder together, partner together in helping your group to discuss issues, so you can bring your husbands and we can all have it as a group or split it or whatever, and so that's my advertisement for the Life on Commoners.
It's a great idea.
I know. I
It's a great
this
idea.
man, and I thought I was the one that didn't know. You thought, and he not sure what would come out of my mouth. That one, you would say that. So, all right. Okay then.
Yeah, we just want to say thank you to Grace Kennedy Belize and to iServants. Thank you, Cirillo and Denmark, for all the work that you both did today. And thank you to everybody that's watching. Thank you so much, Tom and Dion, for being with us this morning. You guys added so much to the discussion, and I'm grateful that we got to wrap up this UncomMen series
I don't know if
with
we
our
wrap up.
favorite
Don't
men.
say wrap up
Don't
yet,
say wrap
because
up?
I don't feel like we wrapped
Okay,
up. I felt
so-
like there was a lot more that
Yeah.
we could have talked about, and we just so happened to have a slot next week that we
Yes,
could
that's
fill.
true. That's true.
So
We'll have to see if we
we'll
can
have to see if we could
get them to come back.
Yes.
Work your magic, ladies.
Oh, I will be working my magic. All right. Thank you guys, and we will see you all next
week.
right
Yeah.
here on Plus TV.
Ta-ta.